Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for agreeing to help us with 2021 admissions to the master's program in school counseling. This year, we had an incredible number of applicants and also really, really high quality. So I hope that you will enjoy meeting and talking to each one of them. And thanks again for being willing to do this. Because of COVID, we will be doing all of this virtual, but we have a great assistant, Ms. Jennifer Austin, who is going to be helping and handling all the technology for us. So I think this will be seamless, but I figured it would just be helpful if I went over everything and gave you a couple days to have a sense of what was going on. And then if you do need help or you want to reach out in any way, shape, or form, you can let us know if you're having any trouble. So in some ways, we're doing the same format as always. It's Saturday morning. We will start at 8:45, as we usually do, just with a brief introduction from me, a little reminder of what we're going to do, what our schedule is. From 9 to 11, you will be meeting with applicants. At 11:15, we will convene as a large group to go through each applicant and talk about them, and talk about whether they're a good fit and whether we should admit them and those kinds of things. They also, in addition to meeting with two of you, they will also, as we usually do, get to meet with a pair of current students and they can ask them questions. We're also giving everybody a virtual tour that two of our students are making, and I think it's going to be great, that will highlight normally where we spend our time in Baldy Hall, the student union, how to get through all the tunnels, all of that kind of good stuff. And maybe even a little bit about Buffalo. We have a large number of applicants this year who are not familiar with Buffalo, have gone to school on Long Island or New Jersey or Connecticut, or don't live in Buffalo. So we want to really give them as much of a sense as we can about our community. So everybody will get that little video as a thank you for interviewing, and give them some sense of that. And we don't have to do actual tours this year anyway. But so let me tell you a little bit about how it's going to work. As I said, again, Jennifer Austin is great. And so she's going to send you a couple days beforehand a Zoom link. There'll be one link for everybody for everything you do. Basically, you will come into a room and then she will put you in the right room with the student that you're going to interview. She'll put all of you from the School Counseling Advisory Board who will be interviewing. She'll put all of you in a room at 8:45 so I can talk to you. Then at 11:15, she'll move all of us into a private, secure room. So again, we can have these conversations confidentially. So she's the mastermind between all of that. So having said that, there's a couple things I want you to know. You will get a schedule a couple days ahead of time of who you will be interviewing. Most of you will have 4 people to interview. We have that many people. We're going to interview probably somewhere between 40 and 50 people. I think right now we're at 44. So that means most of you will interview either 3 or 4 people. The way this Zoom is set up is so fun. Some of you tend to maybe go over a little bit or maybe get behind or whatever. We're going to set your rooms up so that you get 30 minutes. Actually, you get 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, it's going to take you out of your interview room. So that'll give you 5 minutes to make some notes about each applicant so that you have some time in between, or just to breathe or go to the bathroom or whatever you need to do. I believe there also will be maybe even a 2-minute warning in there, or 30-second warning, so you'll know before it's cutting off. But that's the way we're going to set up, because Ms. Austin will be literally moving you manually into your rooms. A couple days before, when you get your link and your schedule, you will also get information about each applicant. You will get their resume. Most of them gave us a resume. You'll get their answers to their questions about why do you want to be a school counselor? What work have you done with children and adolescents? What counseling experiences have you had? And then also their statement of career goals or their statement of purpose. So you'll have some things, a little bit of information about them ahead of time. And I think that's usually been helpful. You've usually gotten that as an email, and we'll continue to do that. Let us know if for some reason you don't get that. I also would check your Zoom link ahead of time. If you don't use Zoom regularly, you need to install Zoom beforehand. It doesn't take very long, just a couple minutes. But sometimes you need another browser or you need something else. So check it out the day you get it and just make sure it's working and let us know if you do need any help about that. So I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything else. So I think the biggest thing to say is, again, we are interviewing a lot of people this year. One of the reasons is they're all so strong, it was really hard for me to decide. The other one is there are a fair amount of people who don't live in Buffalo, who haven't gone to Buffalo. And so I don't know if they're applying to a lot of graduate schools. I just feel like we need to keep our pool pretty deep. So my goal is to originally accept 25 people outright. We will have slots for 20 of them. I like 10 in fieldwork, and we have 2 sections of fieldwork and 2 sections of practicum. I like 10 in each one of them. My magic formula over the years is to have 22 of them in there going into August, and then usually the week before classes, we lose 1 or 2 of them. So there's my magic number of 20. So we'd like to start out by making 25 offers to people and see how they fall out. We are also really encouraging people this year to go full time because the regulations for New York State are changing February 2023. If people have any specific questions about that, and they're considering full-time or part-time or whatever, please ask them to talk to me. You worry about having to try to explain some of those things. So we have set it up so they will start in the fall, or I'm sorry, in the summer and take 2 classes so they can finish. They'll take summer, fall, winter, summer, or spring, and then summer, and they will be done ahead of the regulations. This will be the last class that will be able to do that if they go full time. So don't worry about answering those questions, but I just want to give you that background. We're really pushing for them to be full time so they can finish in terms of that. So having said that, if you're interviewing 3 or 4 people, I know they might all look really strong, but I need you to really think about how do we make some decisions? Because if you tell me to accept 40 of them, I don't know how I'm going to get it down to 25. So the system that I've come up with is I'd like you to think in terms of it, and I will, you'll get forms with this on this, and this will probably be on my screen when we talk about this on that day. But I want you to think about whether you clear out, recommend to admit. That would be a 3. Absolutely recommend we admit them. Okay to admit would be a 2. Waitlist would be a 1, and a no would be a 0. Okay, and we're going to ask you on a scale. When you think about that, if you interview 4 people, maybe 2 or 3 at the most should be recommend to admit. So if you've got 4 that look really strong, I need you to really figure out who are the top 2 strongest ones so that we can make some decisions about this. And again, I'm going to be asking you as you go through, if you like these students, would you be willing to take them as placements for next year? Because I need to start working on that as soon as possible. For those of you who don't know, Bob Farwell retired December 1st. And we have a hiring freeze here at UB. So I will be stepping into his position, taking over admissions right now, as well as taking care of all of the placements for next year for the 1st and 2nd year students. So for most of you, you'll be hearing from me very soon as well, asking me whether you want a 1st year student, a 2nd year student, do you want 2? And we will figure this out in terms of getting this all set. I'd like to be ahead of all of this in terms of that. So just some things to think about in terms of as you're interviewing people and trying to decide how strong they are and who's absolutely wonderful. And again, we'll go through and people will get a chance to talk a little bit about why you have made some of your recommendations as always. Anyway, if you have any thoughts, please reach out to me. If you have any questions, Ms. Jen Austin is probably better with the technology than I am, but I'm happy to try. Anyway, I can't wait to see all of you on Saturday, February 6th. It'll be here before we notice. Thanks.